of you know who she is. If you have not jumped into the chat room just yet, you can find us going live on YouTube and also Facebook. So, Mary Karman, she has been this powerhouse inside that has just expanded and just opened up like a lotus flower with her journey. And it has just been such a delight to watch her become her empowered self. She is a spiritual speaker. She's a life coach. She's an intuitive. She is a triple Scorpio. And that's why we're going. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll go 5 signs in Scorpio. And that's why we're going to be talking about her perspective of the Scorpio season, since we're right in the middle of it and we've just had a wonderful eclipse. Welcome to the show, Mary. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful with all these energies. Yeah. Thank you, Kimlet. It's so exciting to be back here with you again.
I know. I love having you on the show. So, when you have all this Scorpio energy, I mean, how do you even make sense of the 3D world? I mean, I would think that you would just be like so ungrounded all the time. Talk to me about how you stay grounded.
That's interesting you said that. We just went and did aura reports last Saturday or Sunday, and it was all white. And they kept saying, I've never seen anything like this. What is this? But there was an eighth chakra and also one below my feet. And so I have to mentally, physically ground myself several times a day because I am in my upper chakras quite a bit. Having 5 signs in Scorpio, which is the water sign, it is moving with things, going with the flow. And I've had to learn to filter really quick with a lot of things too, especially with this eclipse season hitting us in Scorpio. It's everything that's taboo and everything that's a duality. And I think we're all feeling that duality right now too. Scorpio has Pluto and Mars, fixed water sign. It's everything is black or white, and it's being able to go into the depths like a scorpion would, and doing the research, finding truths, finding answers. And this is what I feel like we're in right now, is trying to find out who we truly are, that duality, who we show to the public, but who we truly are on that, flip side of that too.
Right. Having all that Scorpio energy, it's a gift for the Scorpios not to trust or to be, we call it a bit paranoid. But what that causes you to do is to research them and to really kind of research what people say, what people do, and also to trust your intuition, I think, a lot more. So I think that kind of distrust in the beginning is really working towards your favor to investigate and, like you said, get to the bottom, get to the real truth of what's going on. Now, this is something I want to ask you, because it seems like everybody's got their own truth, the way they see it, right? So
Their
it's like
perspective, correct.
their perspective. And
Yeah.
so Scorpio's like, oh, hell no, no, I'm not falling for that.
And that's true. We do not everything, like I said, that we go against the grain. We are the rebels. We are the rebels with a cause, though. We definitely are looking for those, truths. I had a double whammy because my parents were two different religions, and one saying one thing and the other saying the other thing. And so I questioned everything growing up. And yes, I did go through those Scorpio years. My poor mother was scared. And like I said, it's the scorpion or the eagle. And I feel like I've moved into that eagle where it's more of the bird's eye perspective, being able to see the big picture of things, not being triggered or having that quick response like, a Scorpio usually does. They'll sit with that intensity for a while, but I feel like it is moving into that maturity, into that next higher level of understanding or consciousness too. And I feel like with those Scorpio traits, that's what we're seeing the collective doing on so many levels right now, is moving into that higher perspective. Is this my truth? Does this resonate? Is that what I feel? And like you said, the water sign, the emotions about it, the intuition, that is one of Scorpio's traits. And I feel like everybody's being amped up by this, new moon in Scorpio and the partial eclipse too. It just magnifies it all. So we're going to see a lot of truths coming out here that are going to be uncovered, or, a light shed on them too. It's happening. It's happening. Oh, and I wanted to say hi to Vonda and to Sheila that are here joining us today. Hello, ladies. Good to see both of you. Sending you love back, Vonda.
Thanks for joining us, everybody in the chat room. It's so nice to see you. If you have any questions at all, we are here for you for this hour. So if you have any questions, or you'd like to ask Mary, or just comment on anything that's going on, jump in there. Feel free. We want you to be totally included in on the show. We're expecting Halloween, and the eve of the Hallows and all of that, and that's when the veil is very, very thin. The veil has been getting thin, just to give you a clue. It's you know we've had to wait for Halloween for so long, but now I'm telling you, it has just gotten to be the very thinnest and finest, because this magnetic shield has dropped off. And when that happens, we're allowed to take in more light. So if you can imagine, you have an electromagnetic field around you, and the atmosphere is electric. The cosmos is electric. You do see, all of the colors, and you do see the little twinkling of the lights, but you do see lightning, and you hear the thunder. It is extremely electric out there, and the earth itself is very magnetic,
Yes,
extremely
yes,
magnetic,
yeah,
because the
yes.
earth is made of a lot of crystals. I mean, you can go and crystal hunt on the side of a mountain, in Arkansas if you want, or
Yep,
Idaho,
here
or
too.
yeah, or
Yep,
where.
Utah too. We've got Topaz Mountain.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
so we, channeling both, we have an electromagnetic field around us. So that's how we can, we can channel both, or we can definitely, I want to say, be the go-between. And with this particular veil that's going to be very, very, very thin at this particular time, I want you to be aware of your own psychic abilities and your own intuition. Were there any kind of exercises or skills or anything that you practiced, Mary?
Um, One of them that I've done is, it's intuition is just like any muscle. The more you use it, the more you're
Mm.
going to be able to strengthen it. And, just little things like, when you pick up your phone and, before you look at it, you decide, oh, I bet this is so and so. Or, when you're coming to a light, going, it's going to change now. Just little things like that, strengthening it. I was at my daughter's just a little while ago, and she's starting to tap into her. She's a hairdresser, and she's starting to get messages and feel things. And I went and said, hey, with anything, it's jump in with both feet. It's just being able to allow those messages to come through, not second guessing yourself, or was that me, or was that, my own thought,
Right,
because we're all connected anyways, collectively.
right.
And what you're hearing is a lot of times what they are going to need in that moment. That's why those that are, like those that are in tuned with it are going to get those messages. It's not your place what they do with it. It's not, what whether they accept it or not. You're the one that's just the medium. You're the one that's presenting the message within the messenger. What they do with it, that's their, prerogative too. But I feel like with these eclipse season, this is also a tool and a medicine almost with the eclipse, because it magnifies wherever it's hitting in that sector. And like I said, when you're talking about that perspective thing, you think about that hanged man. He's getting that different perspective. Even though he's upside down, he's able to look at things differently. And more people are doing that rather than accepting the, apropos or whatever is, on the news at night. It's like, is this truth? Is this really what I'm seeing? Is this really, resonating? And thank heaven that people are starting to question things too,
Yeah.
because there's so much more that we don't know that's out there that's, wanting to come in and be of service and also to support us and nurture us. So I feel like, yeah, time to jump into those, intuitive psychic abilities, because the veil is getting thin. Oh, and you were talking about, the magnetic field and everything. I've got family that lives in Alaska, and they are seeing in the Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis, red, and they've never seen red before. So the magnetic field is actually changing and shifting too. There's purples and blues, but now we're seeing reds that are starting to come through. So that's proof right there that the veil is thinning.
Yeah, there's a lot of different colors that are coming through all over up there. I was doing some research on that too. And why do you get the lights? Because it's a different particle that is in the atmosphere. So, yeah, definitely. We're having so much fun at the Intuition Expedition that I'm putting on as a workshop, and it's a 6-week workshop. Hopefully, it'll be coming to all of you soon. But we're having a great time with using our development, the psychic development skills. We're doing psychometry and telepathy, and we're really having some great fun doing a lot of different exercises, like you said, to really use that muscle, because I think everything where we're going in the future is really based on your strong intuition. And the more you feel comfortable with it, even though you're giving messages to other people, are you taking your own messages? So many times, I can't tell you, so many times. And, I talk myself out of them all the time. But, you come to that point where you're like, oh, am I, and then you get out the pendulum and you get out the cards and you get out certain things. But this is
Right.
where we're moving into, we're going into the future. And the better your foundation in your intuition, you are going to be so ahead of the game when all of this really clicks into play. We are sort of inching. And when I first met you, Mary, oh, what a delight you were. I mean, you were just like beaming. Not that you're not now. I'm just like, you were just bouncing around like, how do I get this out of me?
Yes. What do I do with this?
You were
Yeah,
amazing.
sure.
But through shows like this, through our spiritual tribes, we have been able to support each other and able to
Agree.
really help so that we can help others. And that's exactly what my intention
Yeah.
is anyway. And
Service to others. Exactly.
yes, service to others. So with this eclipse, how do you think this is going to pan out? Eclipse fairy dust lasts for 6 months. And since we had a little sandwich with Venus in there, it's got to bubble up with some passion and It's got to
A
kind of,
relationship.
and
Yes, relationships,
relationship. Talk,
definitely.
talk to me about that.
Well, like you said, with it being, that close to Venus right now, Venus is the love, the beauty, seeing beauty in things. Relationships, whether it's, family relationships, love affairs, business, even. I think all of those are being asked to be taken to the next level, partnerships rather
I
than
agree.
relationships.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's that time to move with them, because it's a perfect avenue with Eclipse to magnify everything that's, like you said, a solid foundation, and just move it to the next level. I've seen relationships the last couple of weeks that have been taken into that partnership, and how beautiful that is to have that maturity and to look at the balance between both of them, being able to move together as one rather than a competition, maybe. But
Right.
it does feel more partnership than relationship. And, Venus too is, Libras, and that's all about the scales and that balance.
Mhm.
So that's where I feel like it is the balance of the divine feminine, the divine masculine, being able to hold both of those within yourself, and then recognizing them in others too.
Having this solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, it's very yang in nature. It's very
Mm.
masculine. But when you talked about having so much Scorpio, and we talked about what the truth is, combining, I mean, Venus was right at 2 degrees as well. I mean, this kind of speaks to me that um, that that masculine energy has got to be balanced, but also this pertains to finding the truth, um,
Mhm.
in partnerships and relationships. And what is that?
Mhm.
If you find that truth, that you need to receive passion, or need to receive loyalty, or you need to receive, the knock my socks off until the middle of the next lifetime, that kind of an experience, then you need that. You need to receive that. But it's actually being, I think, having that spotlight on the truth. What makes up a partnership? For
Right.
Scorpios, they got to trust you, right? They got to
Yeah.
trust you. And they're not going to do it the first
Yeah.
time. They're not going to develop trust the first time. They're just not.
Yeah. We have a very small circle. We have many acquaintances, but very small circles. Um, I think a lot of that is because, Scorpio sees beyond the veil and knows when somebody's telling you the truth or when they're not. I mean, I call it the BS monitor. It's almost
Yeah.
ingrained.
I
And
call it
I
the
feel
BS
like,
detector.
yes. And that's what it's feeling like now. It's like, that's not going to fly anymore. It's, we're getting to the point where the BS doesn't fly. It's like, no, we want to get to the truths. We really want that next level of, intimacy, of relationship. What does that look like?
Yeah.
And if people are shallow and, just on the surface, that's not going to fly. I just feel like
Mhm.
that's just not right now.
Yeah.
Um, like we
Well,
talked about that hangman, getting that different perspective again. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, it's funny because Mars being in Gemini is very much a shallow dish, and very much flighty, and doesn't like to get deep. So having Mars there, it's kind of holding them down and saying, "Hey, you've got work to do. We're going to dig a little
Yes,
bit
yeah, that
deeper on your
battle.
dish. We're going to dig a little
Right.
bit deeper on that dish." Also,
Yes, not the surface stuff anymore.
yeah, but
You
also
know?
talk to me about, Scorpios are so private. especially to do with their money. And the next eclipse is going to be talking about
All right.
value and finances. And so, I mean, the Scorpios I know, and I was saying this in the last show, their lights could go out and, they won't say a peep. They'll just, get a little side hustle
Observe.
money going, and they'll get the lights back on and never say anything. They'll never
True.
say a word.
That's
and,
true. That's
and
true.
yeah, and they like the control of the financial platform within a relationship, and I think this also needs to be a little bit harmonized in that. What do you think about that?
Um, to me, that does feel more Taurus to me, um, because of the material things. But with Scorpios, you have to dig deep to find, what makes them tick, what is going to make that difference. But when we're talking about trust, it's with most of us, it'll show in time. It's not, oh, I'm going to trust you with that. It's like, no, time, is going to, experience is going to show us, what that person's truly about. So that's where I think we rely again on that intuition. Is this person telling us the truth? Is this in my highest good or in their highest good? And that's where I think that balance comes in, is, the 3D world, but then that intuition kicks in and goes, this might not be the right time or the right person. And then stepping back and watching it play out too, and seeing, oh yeah, that was a good choice not to jump into that one. But material, I don't know that I've shifted on where my focus is anymore on material things. I've always been provided for. I just feel like the universe opens up when I need something, it's there. So that's not something that I focus on as much
Yeah,
anymore. I mean, yes, going into working as a teacher, 9 to 5, da da da. But now it feels different to me. It's like, it's just the value that you give it. And I know that
yeah,
it makes the world go round,
yes,
but it's other things are valued more, I guess,
right.
in this time in my life.
And I think also Scorpios are very aware of, I want to say, well, their sexual temperature or their sexual nature, their vibe, their frequency is, I want to say, off the scale compared to anybody else in the zodiac. And so I,
Agreed.
yeah, and I just feel
Everything taboo.
everything.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah, they have a little bit of a self-destructive, I don't fear death. That they don't have a fear detector. It's like we don't, we don't
That's
go
not
there.
there.
The fear is not there. So they do kind of push themselves. But I also feel like the truth about controlling people through a sexual frequency, because a lot of let's just say transformational energy is happening now through generational threads about um, dissolving the abuse, dissolving the slave trade, the human trafficking, and now is coming to
Correct.
light. Finally, we're getting to the truth. That's been going on
And
for
those are all taboo. And those are all the
hidden,
Scorpio,
all hidden. Yep, yep.
definitely.
All hidden things. And
Yes.
also, regarding the sexual magnetic attraction that these Scorpios have, they rule the eighth house of intimacy. And for them to learn all the different types of intimacy that there really are, instead of just that, sexual frequency,
Integrity. Right.
is a good thing to kind of look at as well. But we've got a lot of things going on, like Tomorrow, well, it's Wednesday, October 26th. Let's just nail that one down. And tomorrow we've got Mercury that's going to square Pluto. And, this kind of energy is okay. Don't let's just make sure you know all the research, the facts, the figures before, you don't want to come off being gullible or, trying to help the underdog, at this particular, especially tomorrow, because what's happening is Jupiter, I always call it the Santa Claus planet, but Jupiter, the expander, is now in
Yes.
retrograde. So it has been in me first, let's go for it, take a risk, leap of faith, Aries. And it's backpedaling now into another water sign, Pisces. So we've got water, water, and more water. So it'll be so I would say a high priority for everybody to ground themselves, right?
Yes. Yes. Definitely gets the ground and get some crystals, some carnelian. Um, if you can walk outside, put your feet in the ground. We just got snow the last couple of days, so
Where are
that's kind
you again? I'm sorry. Where are
of.
you
I'm
again?
in Utah.
Utah.
Yeah, yeah, and we
Love
just finally got our first snowstorm. So
Wow.
yeah, but grounding. Going back to your tools, like we were just talking about,
Mhm.
your divination tools, whether it's pulling cards, whether it's a pendulum. One that's been coming up for me a lot lately is runes. Going back to the old school stuff and really tapping into what those messages are that are coming through. I've seen a lot of people that are doing past life regressions, wanting to clear, lineage and generational things. And that too is part of this healing of that shadow, which Scorpio is the shadow side. And doing it to the different level where it's like no more suffering. It's not something that's terrible. It's still a part of us. The shadow is a part of us, but it's being able to recognize that and move through it and come out on the other side. That's where the true healing and the true water can flow through and move with grace and ease. And that's what I'm hoping that this will be doing. But like you said, Pluto has been in retrograde for how long? And it is the longest, coldest duration of things. And so Mercury being the messenger, it's going to be that long drawn out message that's trying to come through. So looking at your shadow side through this, like I said, you've talked about the yin yang with the eclipse, you've got that there with the shadow side. And it's time to look at those things, and it's time to heal that wounded, you know, healer in there, and look at that. And I wonder where Cryon is. Where is that right now in the chart?
Chiron? Uh,
Yeah,
um,
is Chiron? Because I just thought wounded healer. That's
hold
Chiron, isn't it?
hold on. But what
Yeah.
before we do that, I will check on that. But before we do that, Mercury is just about to hit Scorpio. The party's in Scorpio.
Okay. Okay.
So Mercury is going to be entering into Scorpio on October 29th. And
Oh
then
wow.
Mars is going to go retrograde on the 30th in Gemini. And, that's the huge one because that's not
Hmm.
going to go direct until January 12th of next year.
Oh wow. And that's which one did you say?
That
Mars?
is Mars is going into retrograde Gemini. And
Oh,
that is
which
not going to
Mars is one of our planets in Scorpio too. So that's interesting that
Mars,
that's happening right in this
yes,
eclipse season in Scorpio.
co-ruler. So, when Mars goes into retrograde in Gemini, what happens is that you learn you learn how important communication is.
Mhm.
And, you know, with all of this Scorpio energy, it's got to be truth. It can't be just blah, 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 and talk about the weather. It's got to be the truth. It's got to come from the heart. but also it's that, because Gemini is all about, it's all about the
The
monkey
air,
mind.
the mental. Yeah, yeah,
It's all
yeah,
about,
definitely.
yeah, it's all about, let's change what the monkey's playing up there. let's let's
That hamster wheel
transform
going
this
around,
circus. you
right?
know yeah. And so a lot of, and also Geminis are known for being, the youthful, um the evergreen zodiac sign, Peter Pan, so to speak. And so a lot of times when we see Mars going retrograde in Gemini, there'll be a lot of work done to maintain the youth. Okay. So you may be seeing a lot of things come out that's going to make you look younger or thinner or have more energy or, be more flexible and all of this. So it's going to have that effect. Now, how does this
Mhm.
blend with the Scorpio energy? Um, I think that Geminis, they're not very serious. So I think they're going to really take their gifts seriously. Geminis are fabulous writers. They're fabulous communicators. Um,
Correct.
they're very well known for their humor. Very
Yeah,
well known
blunt,
for humor.
upfront. Yes,
You may see a little bit more sarcasm in there blending with the Scorpio energy.
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that dry sense of humor.
Yeah, right. You may see a lot of different things come up, but also what I like about it is the communication with music. Scorpios are great actors, they're great musicians, they're great um, songwriters. They feel that passion and that creativity coming up from Neptune is otherworldly. So we may see something that Geminis are actually working on, sound or communication, that
Mhm.
will combine the healer and the transformational process in the Scorpio realm. So I'm looking forward to that. I really am. If
Wonderful.
anybody's out there giving sound baths or the sound bowls or, all of that, I think that's going to be brought to another level where sound, if you get the right combination, like the right alchemy, you get to the truth
Right.
of how sound really aligns you, right?
Yeah, that 432 hertz. I think we're starting to see things starting to change where, they're bringing in that electro, that electric collectic sound now. And I think they're going to be taking it to a different level with, almost the sound of the healing, the tuning forks.
Yeah.
Um, People are wanting that more, it looks like there's so much negativity. But then if you look at the other side, it's like, no, it's what you choose, like you said, that perspective to focus on. You can look at the things that are there that are in uplifting, that are feeling better, that are resonating, rather than playing over here in this lower vibration, in this lower frequencies. And I think that that's might be where you're going with this, with it in Gemini, because it is feeling like we're wanting more. We don't want the old bang, bang, bang. It's no, let's do something that's going to heal our bodies, heal our souls. And I think you're right. We're going to be seeing more and more of that. I love that.
Yeah.
Drumming, yes,
The,
drumming's another one that is really
right.
taking off. Getting back to that with the Native American, the drumming, the chanting, all of that. You're starting to hear in music more and more too.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
definitely. Now, Scorpio rules the underworld, and that's where we get into the shamanic um,
Mhm.
type of perspective. Have you ever studied with a shaman?
I've worked with shamans before. I have not gone down that path. To me, that's the medicine person. We do have a lot of Native Americans that are here. We've got the Navajos and the Utes, and we've gone down to the Four Corners and done a lot of spiritual work that way. But mine is more bringing it to this realm rather than going over there. If that makes sense. I don't deal in a lot of things dark. That's just not my gift, I guess. Mine is more of bringing those messages, those things that are going to resonate here, to lift up and to bring people closer to, their true, identity, their true selves, and what their purpose is here, what they came to do. I feel like everybody's looking outside themselves, and it's time to bring it back in. What is it that you have that you can share with others, rather than going to other gurus, going to other people all the time, having them tell you what you need or what you want, and really stepping back and, going, no, this is what I need. This is what I want right now.
Right.
Hope that made sense. Yeah, staying true to yourself, Sheila. Exactly. To thine own self be true. I've got a ring that actually says that on the inside of it. To thine own self be true.
There you go. Oh, so your question was Chiron, and Chiron is now at 13 degrees retrograde in Aries. So
in Aries.
Mm-hmm. So
the number E, self-care. Oh.
Yeah, but Aries
that's like an oxymoron, isn't it?
Well, it's funny because Aries rules the head. It rules, it kind of shares a little bit with that, with that Mars energy with Scorpio too, so yeah, they're all about the color red. They're all about passion. They're all about, let's do it. But they do it quickly, whereas Scorpios take a while to get over things and process things and transform the experience that they're having. So I think that's, that's kind
difference
of
between an Aries and Scorpio. Right.
Yeah.
Aries on to the next thing. We're still back here.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Mr. Bill. He's always so supportive. Love you, honey. Yeah. And Sheila, of course, and Ivy's in the chat room, and Miss Vanda's there as well. And we have someone that's new. Zave is here. Hi, Zave. How are you? If you have any questions or you'd like to pull some, if you'd like us to pull a card or just give you a little mini reading, that's what we're here for tonight. We'd like to kind of do a little Halloween scene, a little seance Halloweeny, and see what's going on. We were talking in the beginning about how the veil is so thin. Having a lot of Scorpio, you've got 5 placements. Do you see unseen energy all the time? Or is it just now selective? Can you turn it off? Can you turn it on? How does it work for you?
Yeah, I had to learn to filter things really fast. I can still tap into, other dimensions, I guess. So, when I'm driving, I have to make sure that I'm very grounded, because I will see things that are, obviously not there. And it's kind of, like I said, a filtering of, yes, this is when I need to be grounded. This is when I need to, step into that 3D, because I'm doing something like driving. But I also did one where from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. I say I'm off duty, because there was times when I wasn't getting any sleep because everything was just open. And so I was getting these messages continually, and I had to shut it down and saying, unless somebody's dying or bleeding, 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. I'm off duty. But we know that the witching hours is between 3 and 4. So that's usually when everything starts to hit. But it's a balance of it. It's knowing, when you're ready, like they say, the teacher will show up, and being ready and able and willing to step up to, receive some of these messages and things that are being shown. Like Ivy was just saying, she's getting a lot of download of animals that are crossing. There's a lot that are going home right now, and it's okay because the energies are being ramped up so much. Like we were just talking about the Schumann resonance and the solar flares that are coming through with the the aurora borealis. It's those that cannot hold that energy are going to sometimes choose to go home, and that's okay too. It comes down to, we all have exit points, and I think our whole society around death is so taboo that we look at it wrong. We're starting to do celebrations of life and things like that, but it was such a, like I said, a taboo for such a long time that we are still recovering from that and starting to move away from, that's the end. That's where that person dies. Even that word, it just, or somebody saying, I'm so sorry for your loss. They're not lost. We know that they're not lost.
Right. Right.
So it's taking that in a different direction and knowing we don't get out of here alive. We're all going to go through that process, and accepting it and being able to love everybody exactly where they're at, in their grieving processes, because it's going to take a lot of healing to get past that's the end, that's all there is, and or I'm never going to see that person again, or that feeling of such loss that people experience. And there's another one that's the transformational, death, rebirth, and with the Scorpio energy that I think is coming up to be looked at and to heal too, knowing that we all leave this world and we don't leave alive. So looking at, as a celebration, as a graduation for those that get to go home, that's where we need to change that perspective.
And that is such a great point to bring up. And I think what's happening, I mean, if you can even imagine, when I started studying astrology, nobody knew their sun sign. I mean, we have come a long way. People say, oh my gosh, there's so much racism in the world. And then I said, you should have lived when I was, young, we've come a long way. It's never recognized. But I think the acknowledgement of the soul and the soul's journey through being a human is going to be accepted, acknowledged. And there are certain times, certain portals. There's a question in the chat room I wanted to acknowledge as well from Ivy. I've heard of older celebrities and elite deaths happening till early December, but this has a lot to do with a certain group in some craft, if you know what I mean. Have we heard anything about this? I have to honestly tell you that for me, I can feel the portals when they open, and they're hugely open right now. There is a Pluto influence here that I track all the time. Pluto, yes, Pluto has a shadow that comes over, and I've been tracking that particular journey for Pluto and how it aligns and what it actually does as far as the shootings and the schools and the fear and all of that, and the concerts and things like that. And I've been gathering the data for all of that. But when the portals open, and Mary brought this up, which was just fabulous, is that the body, your avatar, your human, Your human was born at a specific frequency. And now we have raised our frequency on planet Earth almost 22 times since
Wow.
I've been born. And I feel like I'm dancing as fast as I can sometimes. But if you don't shift, if you don't do the inner work, if you don't acknowledge these particular speed ups in frequency,
Mhm.
you are not going to assimilate that particular amount of light, speed,
Right.
and also information. So the body cannot operate at a certain higher level. So the
Yeah,
older I get, but I think it's more about what she was saying about the Scorpio truths that are coming in. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I have found in my work, being a counselor, is that the truth can set you free. Sometimes the truth is a heavy weight to bear. On the flip side, if it's
it's
so
freedom.
heavy that the body cannot carry the truth or face the truth, it will set you free.
Correct.
And
Correct.
do you
That's the transformation that you go through, that
right,
birth, death, transformation that I feel like even collectively we're being asked to do right now. The
right.
old things are not working, and it's coming to find new tools, or even, like we said, going back to those old tools that and divination uh, resources that are helping us to get through to that 5D or whatever that is. But the other part of that is, like you said, honoring this. We chose that time, this body, this gender, everything to come in at this time. And it's being able to know that and know that this bodysuit is what we chose during this lifetime. It is not who we are as a soul, but that is what we chose to come in to whatever work or lesson or experience that
Right,
we want to do this time around. And
right,
not diminishing that or taking that away from the choice that you made before, or that contract even when you came here. Like we said, it's being challenged right now, and
mhm,
I struggle with that sometimes too, because like I said, I ask for that person's birthday and their given name at birth, because that's how the angels know you when you come in here, and
mhm,
that's where I at that time. So I don't know, things are, got to get back to basics is what I keep hearing. Get back to the basics
right,
and those old tools that work, prayer, meditation, whether
mhm,
it's a pendulum, whether it's, like I said, runes. I mean, I've pulled those out again, and those have opened up like past life information for me too.
right,
So find what your gifts are. Is it a clairvoyant, claircognizant, clairsentient? And then start to strengthen those, because this, like you said, these portals that have opened now, and with the eclipse season and Scorpio, it's time. If you ever wanted to touch into that magic, with a K, the alchemy of it all, now's the time to do it. Really get honest with yourself. What is it that, interests you? What is it? Numerology, astrology, and go for it. Go
right,
for it.
right. Scorpio has this wonderful curiosity about the occult. And with Mars going retrograde in Gemini, what a fabulous time to try your hand at automatic writing.
Mm, yes, that's what
Beautiful.
yeah, that
A
is.
beautiful marriage of these particular energies. And I know a lot of we do this in the intuition expedition, is we start with the automatic writing. we start with getting aligned through that, because the writing is what really connects with the heart and opens up and starts the channeling going. And it's such
Exactly.
a cool exercise to get that intuition fired up. So my suggestion during this time over the holidays, you may want to journal, you may want to collect certain things. It's funny, do you get signs from people who have passed, or any coins, feathers, that kind of thing, Mary?
Oh yes, definitely. Um, yeah, my dad is a ladybug. He worked for Hudson Sprayer, and so the ladybug was their logo, hence the uh, tattoo I have. Um, a lot of times, with my mother, I will see butterflies. A lot of times when I'm doing readings, birds will come in, whether it's a hawk or whether it's a robin, things like that. Those are going to come in as messages, as signs and symbols for people, and recognizing that, opening your eyes. I keep saying those that have eyes to see and ears to hear are now. Those that are not. And there's almost like a bigger and bigger division almost in those that are wanting to ascend, those that are wanting to take the higher road, the higher frequencies, and those that don't. And there's no right or wrong, good or bad. It's just what your soul is wanting, and that purpose for you right now is, taking that to that next level, looking for those signs, looking for those synchronicities, and acting on them too. There's got to be an action behind it, like you said, with um the Scorpio season. Like you said, Mars is the action, the battle, the taking it to the streets. So now's the time to do it. If there's anything that you wanted to touch into that's the occult, whether it's mystic, cards, tarot, all of that, this is the time to do it, to really introduce yourself to something and see if it resonates. If it doesn't, try something else until you find that niche, you find what resonates with your soul and your soul purpose, and then take it to the next level.
We have Vonda that would love a mini reading. She says, thank you
Okay.
very much. She's having relationship challenges. Do you think you can help her a little bit?
Okay. um this feels like past stuff. This feels like something that's circling around again, something that's coming back. And I keep feeling like it's, you know, digging up the past. Um, if you've already tried something before and it didn't work, a lot of times it's not going to again. It's just you know, visiting all those same wounds again, and time to leave the past in the past and to move forward. If you're always looking behind you, or, having regrets or wondering if, that's that's history. You can't change that. So yeah, the things I'm seeing, Vonda, is let the past stay in the past. So I hope that helps. Hey
Yeah.
Jill, so good to see you too here, sweetheart.
Yeah. I also, right away the romance card comes up. Oh, Fonda. She said the sexy girl. She knows how to do it. I do think that there's something coming up for you, though, as a romantic possibility. But I do think that you need to get a new perspective on your expectation level as to what this all is about. But there's something about the timing. So if it's not working out
Right.
for you now, I feel like just, take it in, let the eclipses fall and fall into place for you, because I think the romance needs what's called divine timing for you. But I do think it's there. I do think that it's going to settle in. But I do think, you want what you want, what you want. I get that. But I do think there's another perspective, maybe opening and opening from the heart a little bit on both sides, that will bring this into play in a harmonious way. So I do think you have an opportunity definitely there, but let these eclipses go. We've got a pretty heavy duty one coming up November 8th, which happens to be election day, Mary.
Oh my gosh, it does. Oh yeah, 2022, the election day for the 8th.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Let's see. She
oh,
just
and
says,
in Taurus.
yeah,
Oh
right.
man.
I know. And that rules Wall Street. So,
I was to say institutions, Wall Street, money, all those things. So, yeah, I
yeah.
think we're gonna have a few, China bulls in the China, closet, whatever they say about that.
Yep.
There's gonna be some things that are gonna be definitely shaken up on Wall
Yeah.
Street and finances. Finances definitely.
Well, we just
Yeah,
read,
those that might come down.
we just did a reading for Vonda, but we'd like to acknowledge Sheila. Do you feel anything for me? She's just asking.
I feel like this is probably a transformational time. Like she's been sitting almost in that cocoon stage, and it's taking that next step, like we said, that action of, what do you want to do, Sheila? Where do you want to go with, all the tools and the information and everything, the knowledge that you've gained over the years? What do you want to do with it? It's time to take it to that next level, to that next step. Just do it. The old Nike saying, it's going to be supported from this side of the veil as well as the other side of the veil. I'm seeing clocks, which to me is the symbol for it's time. So just jump off, start doing it. It is, like I said, keep seeing the timing, the time to do it. So let us know how that goes for you.
I feel the same way. You can do it, and you're not alone in doing this. So don't think that it's a reflection of you. You've got a whole spiritual group on the other side. You've got Archangel Michael by your side. I do see you getting very curious about Indian ceremony coming up in the future. Has to do with the power of the buffalo. So, what if you go through some type of a ceremony, or maybe the buffalo is powerful for healing or cleansing, I don't know. It's not my realm. I have no idea. I haven't studied with them, but mine's more in the Chinese sector. But for you, my darling, you may be feeling in the future a real curiosity about Native American Indians and about the power. They're showing me a buffalo, so about the power of the buffalo. Many, 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 many moons ago, I came up with a particular name, and I wanted to trademark it, or whatever you do, copyright it, or whatever you do. It was many, many moons ago, but it was called Buffalo Lightning. And that came up for you. So it's got to be very, very powerful of the American Indian ceremony and their belief system. So please check that out. And I hope that helps you. Okay. So,
It does feel
Mr.
a
Bill's
lot of
so
shift.
cute. He keeps saying Vonda wants a reading. Vonda's had a reading, Mr. Bill. We read her.
Mr. Bill. Hello, Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill, Vonda's had a reading. I think you must have missed that part.
Yeah, she just wrote in. Thank you both. Very good. Yes. Well,
Yeah.
good. God, that helped. But I
Wonderful.
do feel like that the prophecies, the Hopis, the Inuits from the north all the way down to the south, they're all starting to mesh with their prophecies, and they're coming to fruition right now. So to me, that lightning bolt, that is powerful. That's that shock factor, almost that division, that line right there. It's time, so that was really a beautiful symbol to come through with that buffalo. I like that.
Yeah, because the lightning bolt is the glyph or the symbol of Aquarius. And, we're going into the age of Aquarius, but we're bringing all that traditional, Indian belief system with us. So, I love that, you know. Let's see. Thank you for the messages. There you go. She says, I am connected to the buffalo. Honest.
Love that.
And the birds. I love that too very much. Well, my
Thank you.
Miss 5 placements of Miss Scorpio.
Oh,
You get the trophy for this particular Scorpio party. Now, remember, Scorpio's moving, or Mercury is moving into Scorpio this Saturday. So we are all going to be feeling and thinking along the path that we were just talking about. We're just talking about all those attributes that have to do with passionate Scorpio, transformational Scorpio, seeing the unseen and accepting the messages of intuition that are coming. And how do you handle, Mary, real quick, when you do get a message, but no one's asked for it? Do you tell them anyway, or how do you handle
I
that?
will always ask permission. Yeah. I'll always ask them for permission. I've got something that's come through for me. Is this something that you would like to hear? If they say no, then that's no. But a lot of times, like I said, my kids used to not even want to go to the store with me. It's when something comes through, there is such an urgency because they're wanting to get that message. And a lot of times it's to let them know they're okay. Oh, did I did it right? I'm so sorry. I got so many regrets. And it's like, no, they don't care. They really don't. It is such, like I said, that graduation. They're the ones that are the lucky ones. They get to go on. Yes, it's difficult for us here, but don't put that on them, that that regret, or that worry, or that fear, because there's such unconditional love over there. They do not feel that. And getting that message to somebody that is holding on to that guilt or regret, is a lot of times what the message is that comes through. And like I said, I do have to ask for permission because of free agency and free will.
Absolutely. And a lot of times it's, when they think about it, it's validation for them. And that's
Right.
really so important, That's really very, very important. Well, my darlings, thank you so much for coming along with us in the chat room. I surely appreciate it. Happy Halloween to everyone. Happy Scorpio season. And if we want to get a hold of Miss Mary, how do we do that?
Yes, I've got a page. It's called Metaphysical Intuitive Insights. And I've also on Instagram as Heartlight Healer. You can find me on both of those, and Facebook, just under Mary Karman. I've got the button, for setting up readings. I do them by Zoom, in person, over the phone, Venmo, PayPal. So there's lots of ways to reach out. Phone numbers on there. That's probably the easiest way to get hold of me is by text. So yes, please do. And it's the season, 'tis the time.
She's going to be right on point right now. She's really channeling the good stuff. So I highly recommend her. And if you would like to get a hold of me, we are having a wonderful offering. I am a speaker for the Wondrous Ascension Ride for 2022. And we have some other wonderful speakers as well. So you can, all this week actually, until the 29th, you can go ahead and get your free tickets so you can view all of the speakers and also decide on their offerings, mine as well, if you would like to tap into getting some wonderful messages coming through for you and advice. And again, that's on my website, kimlalowe, LOWE.com. Thank you so much again. Mary, thank you. I love when you come on the show.
I just look forward to this.
You stay warm up in Utah now if it's snowing already.
We are.
Enjoy all of that wonderful grounding that you
Need.
that you need. Okay. Until next time, may the angels protect you and guide you. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Vonda. It's Karman. It's Karman, like karma with an N at the end. So yeah, I'm glad you asked about that. Karman. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.